Hello and welcome, my name is Lynx, and today we are going to sit to a game that was released in July 24, but it got an update this year as well, in February. A game by TATEGAMI on itch.io. Of course, link to the game in the description as always. And the game has a lovely trailer, that's for sure. The trailer for this game is fantastic. But I will not be playing that right now, of course. Let's get into the game's description and then we'll proceed. The Egyptian gods have returned. In a world reborn under the influence of ancient deities, the Egyptian Orthodox Church emerges, a devout order striving to honor and sustain the divine resurgence. Wendy, a blue-haired demigoddess, is selected to act as the vanguard for the church. Alongside her stands a silver-haired sister of faith named Hibiki. Together, this unlikely duo faces a sinister cult bent on summoning 7 sinister demons. As battles rage and shadows close in, a bond deeper than faith begins to grow. A love forged in the crucible of danger and destined to challenge the fabric of their beliefs. Will Wendy and Hibiki's resolve be enough to stem the tide of the darkness? And can their newfound connection withstand the wave of their divine mission? This is their story. Spirit Sisters. Now, I'm already sold, okay? I'm already sold. Love the fact that this is animated. Sure, that's not like a huge animation, but it's still nice. I feel like rarely seen in VNs. Alright, Spirit Sisters, let's begin your story. This visual novel is a work of fiction. Visual novel, capital letters. The story, characters, and events depicted in this game are entirely for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend or disrespect any religious beliefs or traditions. Why not? Come on. Why not? This is the story of how the moon rose to purge the darkness. Alright. Chapter 1. Underwater Temple. Okay, a phoenix, like rising from the ashes. Sheen. Who's Sheen? Well, now, I do know for a moment there was light covering a lot, but with YouTube you don't know at this point. Like, they constantly change their mind. Within the caverns, tight creeks lay the stagnant, unconscious woman. A traumatic event that befell her left her body in a suspended, animated state for an unregistered amount of time. Her body, which previously was covered in bruises and fatal wounds, had somehow regenerated itself. After an unforeseeable amount of time passed, she woke up. Upon her awakening, she looked at her surroundings, only to witness the emptiness of her current location. Gazing at her surroundings, the cavern she found herself in was covered in dark rocks and minerals, with a small light source emitting from below, giving to the caves a bluish tint. Unbeknownst to her, this cave was down deep in the bowels of the ocean, making it impossible for any light source to shine within here. Makes sense. The thing lighting up the cavern was in fact the blue flowers that had bloomed around her, along with a few that have bloomed out around the cavern's hollow interior. Interesting. Now, walking along the cave's trenches in solitude, small blue shapes of light start to come into her vision. These flickers start to take more soul-defying forms, emerging from the moisture surrounding her. These lights present themselves as spirits. The girl in question sees these light sources but brushes them off as hallucinations, until one of the spirits connects with her forehead. Immediately a storm of images floods her head. Memories of a truck accident, of course it's a truck accident, one that cost her life as well as someone she tried to save. Slowly but surely she started to regain her memories. Oh, it's not voiced? Well, the trailer had voice. I thought maybe the game would be as well, but I guess not.
Wow, that whole thing was pretty scary. I'm starting to remember things.
She thinks to herself for a moment before looking around at the fleeting spirits that have started swirling around her.
My head's spinning. Where am I?
The girl pays no mind to the blooming flowers in her stead, attempts to rise from the shallow waters. She looks around, trying to scout out the best direction to go in. After looking down for a moment, she glimpses over at her hair, taking its hue and features.
I don't remember dyeing my hair blue. I'm not a Karen. The lights. You guys are spirit, aren't you?
Actually, Karens are blonde, right? So, but still, like the colorful hair, and you think, oh no. Anyway,
I can hear you guys talking to me. You've started to help me remember what happened. Meh, never mind all of that. What's important is that I start finding my way out of here.
Wendy says, confidently pumping her fist. As she says this out loud, the number of strangling spirits start to light a path forward for the young woman.
What's this? Oh, you guys are showing me the way? That's awesome! You're so sweet. You're like Tinkerbell.
The girl bounces with stars in her eyes as she gleefully strolls down her designated path. Now feeling a bit more comfortable with her small spirit companions keeping her company, she starts to walk with more grace in her movements. Before she knows it, she is hopping around the tunnel, gracing her steps like a ballerina, jumping and hopping as such. Now getting to the end of the cave's path, she is met with what would seem like a dead end.
Are you guys sure this is the way out? I don't see anywhere else to go.
The spirits, which were previously beaming in front of her, fly up to an open creek of rocks close to the tunnel ceiling, one that leads out to the vast depth of the ocean.
Damn it! So swimming out is the only real way out of this.
I mean, you say that, but if you are at the bottom of the ocean, I guess it depends what part of the ocean that bottom is. But if you are not at like a very deep one, then maybe it's fine. But otherwise the pressure would destroy you. Sure, it seems like you've gained Phoenix's power, but that would not be very helpful in this situation. It would be, you know, basically ceasing to exist over and over again. Anyway.
Well, I hope I'm a good swimmer. You don't know?
The girl then proceeds to jump on top of a few rocks to get herself in a better position to dive upwards to the open creek. I think she's not that deep. I would have a problem because I can't swim. Now, swimming out in the open, she's able to witness everything the underwater surrounding ruins have to offer. Many sunken statues and old decomposed temples of such had been surrounding the cavern she had previously inhabited. Now, taking her new environment in, she opens her eyes in glee at the amazing sea creatures that swim around her. So many variations of fish, turtles, seahorses, and other aquatic life roamed the outwards of the cavern.
Ah, this is so cool. I wonder how many different critters roam around here. I don't seem to need to hold my breath that long now that I think of it.
What do you mean? Now arriving at the shining light up ahead, she makes her way over to it, expecting to finally come up onto the land shore, where she truly ended up emerging she could never have predicted. Popping her head up from the water, she now seems to be in a small pond-like structure. What? One that is placed directly in front of a bluish, undamaged temple. What? Kinda purplish. This was none other than the underwater temple, better to be known as the Spirit Goddess Temple.
Oh boy, I don't like the feeling of this.
Taking the majestic presence of the palace, she stares up at its size, reckoning it being about the size of your average church. I'm gonna say that right now, and I mean it. Poland has too many churches, we need to get rid of some of them. I mean, they are useless. Useless buildings, come on. Nonetheless, she swims down to the pond's edges and places her feet on the rocky grounds. She walks to the temple's steps. Right before the steps, she sees a small pillar with ancient writings scribbled on it.
I wonder what this says. It's not in any language I'm familiar with.
She bends over to gaze at the stone pillar. After breaking a moment to figure out its meaning, she brushes it off and decides her next course of action should just be to go inside.
Well, it's not like they left their doors open for no reason.
Now entering the temple's doors, she takes in the full majesty of its interior. Within this temple are multiple statues of unrecognizable people, all of these being women. Around the walls and even covering the ceilings are bloomed blue lilies that have scattered within the innermost crevices of the temple. But the biggest highlight of the inside is that of an ancient black sword, standing tall and mighty, wrapped by thorns and flowers.
I may have gotten myself into something I'm not exactly prepared for.
I mean, she has a nice body, I've got to give it to her.
Damn it, why did those spirits lead me over here? I had to say it, but I really must be lost. The only thing in here are all these statues and this sword, I guess.
She ponders for a second before she recalls her previous recollections when concerning her memories.
Wait a minute. Did I get isekai'd?
She screams out, only to be met with the echoing sound of the last word she said. After taking a minute to recompose herself, the young girl starts cackling to herself.
Hehe, yeah, right. As if something that ridiculous could happen in the real world. Right? Besides, if this was another world, then there would be a classic RPG monsters like around this like slimes or golems.
Well, you did it to yourself, girl. Suddenly a golem hawk appeared before her. The golem before her lunges forward, presumably to attack. When the quick on her feet moves out of the way, causing the brute to crash in the rocky walls, not feeling adept enough to battle the giant creature when he makes a beeline to the exit.
What in the world? That's a golem! A real golem! I was just kidding before I did I really get isekai'd? Anyway, I gotta get out of here.
She approaches the temple's door, where suddenly a formation of rocks comes up from the ground and blocks the exit doors.
Damn it! It's able to move rocks! I can escape like this! What does he even want from me? Is he the temple's guardian or something? Maybe he sees me as a threat of some sort.
The golem's second attack was approaching. Same as before, she lunges back and forth, dodging the brute's heavy attacks. This goes on for a minute before the golem gets the upper hand, manipulating the terrain in which she is about to jump in order to get her to trip on her feet. Now on the ground, Wendy attempts to get up before she is kicked by the golem's gigantic feet. Now slammed to the temple's walls, Wendy lets out a scream of anguish as she coughs up blood. The stone brute was able to break and puncture her ribcage in one attack. Oof. Still traumatized by the powerful attack, she doesn't notice the rocks and waters around her start to alter and form over her. Oof, binding her arms and legs to keep her stuck to the wall. Oh no. After suffering such a blow, it engulfs a sense of urgency in the spirits. They form around the bonded up girl as they start to flow magic into her injured body. Her mind starts to race as the flux of magic coursing through her also brings some clarity to her troubled psyche. In an instant, Wendy remembered everything. Not just the recent events that had led her to this temple, but all her memories have fully returned to her. Her name, her past, the event that led her here. She had just run into traffic to save her childhood friend. Oh, of course. When they both were tragically hit by a truck. Childhood friend. But now she had somehow ended up inside this temple. Ah, that's blinding.
Tayoshin, my precious Shin.
She says under her breath, recalling the memory of her precious childhood friend. I hate childhood friends, you know that.
No, this can't be another word. I can feel it. Somehow, Shin is alive. He's out there somewhere.
Nah. She thinks to herself as the golem starts to walk closer and closer to her, his footsteps being profoundly loud.
How long has it been? I feel like I must have been lying in that cave unconscious for weeks. Maybe even months. Somehow after the truck incident, I ended up here. Wait, if I'm here, what happened to Shin?
Who cares? The golem now in front of her is about to launch another attack, but before it can reach, Wendy is bursting with a fire that shines a bright blue. Yeah, that hair definitely in a position to hide stuff. The monster is taken back by this as the flame's heat is not something common in these underwater trenches. Now filled with vigor and her previous wounds completely healed, Wendy breaks free from the rocky shackles, now standing proud on her feet. Golem or not, Wendy has been in a few fights during her life, and she can proudly say she has not lost one of them. Nice. There is no reason this brute should be any different. The rock monster lunges her again, throwing fist after fist as Wendy dodges left and right, evading his attack with even more ease than before. Dang.
I'm sorry about this. I don't mean to vandalize upon any sanctity this temple may have, but this sword might be my only way out of here.
Wendy uses her newfound super strength to jump as high as she can right at the moment of attack. She did not jump aimlessly, however. She jumped in a direction that would leave her right in front of the temple's flower and crusted sword. She says before grabbing onto the sword's handle. The moment her hand touched the black sword, her body glowed in a blue hue. She felt the flowers and veins begin to unwrap from the sword as the built-up magical power that had been inside the sword engulfed the blue-haired woman's face, forcing her to release the gut-wrenching power in a fiery blue aura. Now surging with the unregistered spirit magic, she who previously was walking around nude, due to the dramatic circumstances that had befallen her, is now sporting a new attire. Coated in tight blue spandex, as well as a thin layer of battle armor safeguarding her elbows and knees that looked a bit like seashells. Now holding the black sword, she takes in her new outfit, the outfit designated for the one who holds the title of the Spirit Goddess. Yeah. Ooh. That's a neat sword, by the way. And obviously, the outfit.
Alright, you big oaf, round 2!
Feel not just the spirits, but the very inept control of the magic coursing through her body. Wendy is filled with determination. She picks up the sword and holds it in front of her in a more action-like pose. From her surging energy, the bloomed lilies in the aura start to blow around her, creating the image one might see walking around a forest in the spring. That's some cute music. The rock monster lunges forward, and Wendy does as well. The hilt of her sword meets with the end of its fist. Wendy, taken aback from this, twisted the sword to her wrist, spun around and slashed around its supposed abdomen.
Whew, yes.
Oh, she's a kendo. I love kendo girls.
Years of kendo and martial arts training are going to have to start paying off now.
The golem turns to strike at the girl with another kick like before, forcing the woman to use the sword as a shield of sorts, holding it out so it can take the wave of the incoming strike. Now, being significantly pushed back, she takes a moment to compose herself. The surrounding spirits in the temple start to flow into Wendy as she absorbs their power. She concentrates its heat into her sword. Then, through the smoke, the rocky monster lunges at her once again. But with the surplus of magical energy conjured up by the Blue Warrior, she spins in place, dodging the incoming attack and, in one swift move, slices the golem's arm. So technically for golem to get an arm, a new arm probably wouldn't be a problem. Screaming in pain. Golems feel pain. The golem gets down the one knee, looking up at the surging woman.
That was only a love tap, by the way. Only use a quarter of the absorbed energy. Now here is the rest.
Dude, I'm into her, okay? Kendo, ponytail. As she says this, she swings her sword down at the wounded golem. Upon impact, it shatters into a million pieces, bringing an end to their fight. And that cold-bloodedness right now. Cold-bloodedness.
It's over.
Excellent. I expect nothing less from the new spirit goddess candidate.
Wendy turned around to see where the voice had been emitted from. A small brute creature that resembled a sea otter, glowing and talking right in front of us, while as holding a small staff. Let's go. That was an excellent fight.
That was an excellent fight. Believe me, if I had socks, they'd be flying right now.
Says the blue otter. Kinda purple. Clapping at the girl's efforts.
Eh?
Was all Wendy was able to say. Taking the weird but adorable looking creature that appeared out of thin magic in front of her, the sea otter clears its throat.
Hello, young lady. My name is Otto.
You know what that sound was? That was the sound of blowing air into a basically bottle. And to be specific, like a beer bottle. Anywho.
I'm the spirit that has been guarding this temple for generations. It's so nice to finally meet you. I've only been waiting for close to 8 years.
Yeah. That sound again.
You've successfully passed the trial and defeated the golem that terrorized this temple's sanctity. And as you may already be aware, you've even been accepted by the great spirit sword, Soul Calibur.
Let's go. Oh yeah, now that makes me interested in something. I think there was, right? Soul Calibur on Steam. My god. Yes, there is Soul Calibur 6. It's wild how much faster now for me, the PC works with that new CPU and SSD. Jesus Christ, that game is ridiculous. It has 16 DLCs as well. Jesus Christ. Someone went, oh, of course, it's Bandai Namco. I thought, why am I... Alright, I'm not surprised anymore by the price. Ridiculous behavior. Soul Calibur.
That sword has been passed down by every spirit goddess since the first stage of gods, and choosing you proves that you are the spirit goddess this temple that I have been waiting for so long.
So you were here the whole time?
The spirit stands proudly, tapping his staff 2 times onto the ground. Oh, is that the staff that make that sound?
Yes.
Wow.
Unlike the lesser spirits that led you here to this temple, I am a greater spirit. I'm made up of several lesser spirits that form together to become a stronger entity. It was my mission to.
Yeah, whatever. So you're the one who brought me here, which means you're the reason I was put in danger in the first place.
The great spirit looks back at the girl, only now seeing the unrelaxed expression on the woman's face.
Hey, Wendy. Can I point something out as well? You might want to kick his ass cause he's actually seen you without that spandex. You know what I mean? Well, you see, it was my duty as instructed by the previous spirit goddess to put you through this trial to invoke your magical powers. You think I give a shite about your trial? What if I was murdered?
She says, now storming over the greater spirit.
Hey, language!
Before the spirit continued, he is furiously popped in the head by an understandably angry woman.
That golem was scary. What if I didn't get to the sword in time, huh? Then your whole ritual would have gone up in smoke, you idiot.
Ouch, that hurt. I may be a spirit, but I still have feelings. You're way too violent for a spirit goddess.
I think she's great.
I don't give a shite. Now tell me how to get out of here.
I can't.
He responds hesitantly before being immediately grabbed and raised in the air by the blue-haired woman. I mean, technically in the water, right? We are still under the water, right? Right?
Can't or won't.
Wendy's head begins to fume from her temper reaching its limit.
I can't let you go. Not yet as a spirit goddess, you still have a duty in this temple.
Spirit goddess, spirit goddess, spirit goddess. Is that supposed to mean something to me? I don't even know anything about this stuff. You expect to just go ahead and listen to your orders aimlessly? Now I won't ask again. Let me out of here, you bug-eyed wing.
Why are you so mean? I did what I was instructed to do. A woman as rude and violent as you can possibly be the spirit goddess. Give me back the sword.
I'm keeping the sword.
Wendy barks back, not taking any of the spirit's crap any longer.
That will be quite enough, Otto.
A rough and menacing voice says from behind the pair.
Ooh. It's a pleasure to meet you, child. I am Set.
Wait, Set as in actually Egyptian god? God? I was about to say goddess. Alright. You know what? Let's cut it right here, right now. That was menacing. We'll get to this tomorrow. We are actually ending before the 30 minutes mark, but given that there is a chapter, I will end it at the chapter. Also, it's 3 in the morning. I feel like going to sleep now. With that being said, the introduction to the game, honestly, I have a positive feeling about this game. Spirit Sisters. I feel like we really are on the road to have a good time with this story. But we've done chapter 1, so we'll finish the video. Basically, every video will be a chapter of the game. That's how we are going to roll with it. So, for now, hope you enjoyed. As usual, consider liking the video if you did. And if you're new around, consider subscribing. Super appreciated if you stick around. With that, your chances of meeting a goddess of sorts will rise. And that's it. I wish you a fantastic day and feel free to join me tomorrow too. Bye bye.